Welcome back to Crushing Sounds. My name is Chris. If you can believe it, that time of year has arrived once again. We are fast approaching the final of Bristol's Metal to the Masses competition, where one band will be going on to play this year's amazing Bloodstock Festival. I'll be chatting with the finalists ahead of the big day so you can get to know their music, their fun vibes, and of course, their metal. Starting us off today, I have Brandon from the positively ferocious Martyrs Saint. Thank you so much for joining me today, dude. How are you doing?
I'm great, man. Thank you for having me. For having a chat.
Anytime.
Sick. It's
Anytime.
been really, really nice weather, but today's actually chilled out a little bit,
Yeah.
which is a nice that I'm not hopping on here full of sweat and drenched. It's
Oh, God,
cooled off a little bit.
tell me about it. Tell me about it. Cool. So,
Oh,
am I right in thinking you are the vocalist and guitarist?
yes, one of two guitars, yeah.
Nice, nice. And who are the other guys in the band so people can
So
put names to
we've
faces?
got Amari. He plays lead guitar. He does quite a bit of vocal as well. We've got Harv on bass. He does backing vocals, and we've got Louis on the drums.
Nice one, nice one. Cool. So, you guys are the first of this year's finalists to appear on my little bit of nonsense that I
Sweet.
do every year. So, thanks again. Really appreciate it.
Nice,
So,
man.
judging by the timestamps of your music on your various outlets where people can listen to your
Yeah.
stuff, it looks like your earliest work came out in like 2024, if I've got that
Yeah.
correct.
Correct.
Cool. Cool. So, we're only 2 years out from that, of course,
Mhm.
which is not that long ago. So, what made you guys go, let's jump straight into Metal to the Masses?
Well, we were gonna play it. We've been a band longer than 2024, but under a different name, and we were gonna play it way back then. But that's before we knew what exclusivity was. So we booked a million shows in a month. I'm like, oh, we're not allowed to play it, so we didn't do it. Then we got let off from it. We didn't bother thinking about it. Um, then we basically just played the scene, and it was sort of in the back of our minds, but never really wanted to do it. Then the Fuel from My Fire podcast had some really nice stuff to say about us from when we opened for Overthrust at Golden Lion. And they were like, oh, it'd be nice to see them at Melts and Masters this year. And I was like, yeah, why are we not doing it? It's really, really thick that we're not. So I hopped on the call with Amari, and he's like, yeah, it makes sense. I don't know why we haven't thought about doing it ourselves. One message in the group chat later, and it was like, cool, we'll actually apply and do it this time. It was kind of stupid that we didn't think of it.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I mean, you mentioned the exclusivity thing. I mean,
Yeah.
my band have been doing it for a few years now, and we love doing it. But the exclusivity is kind of brutal for Metal to the Masses.
I
'Cause,
mean, so what, 3 weeks either side?
yeah, but it's like when you apply, you don't know exactly which heat you're going to be.
Yeah, yeah, I
Sort of,
guess. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
but still, it's totally worth it.
yeah,
What sort of shows were you doing in that big block, basically?
when when we were first together, when we first applied, it was just local shows. You'd go play with any indie band who'll play with you, kind of thing. It wasn't anything major, but we wanted the reps on the
Mhm.
scene. Um, it's only in as we've got older and played some slightly more significant shows where we've gone, oh, this exclusivity does matter,
Yeah,
and promoters really don't like it when you play too many shows. So now we're bigger and less of them shows. If that makes sense, rather than as many as possible, which obviously works in our favor. Um, so the shows have gotten better over time. We've played less of them, but at that point, it was whatever we could get.
of course, of course. Do you remember your first show? Well, I'm sure you do. What was your first
Uh,
show?
yeah, it was the Thunderbolt
Nice.
opening for the Duchess of Mars. I
Okay,
think it was April 2023, I think, or
nice.
June 2023, something like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
So how did Martyrs Saint come to be?
Well, we used to be called Martyr,
Okay.
and we were about that for a year. Um, but basically, I moved to Bristol when I was 17. Started playing guitar when I was 17 as well. I was basically looking for a band, and I could not get one together. Like I could not do it. Um, and our old singer at the time, Stuart, who's also like one of our dearest friends in the world right now, by the way. Um, he was in a band, and so I went up to him. I was like, I get if you don't want to start another band, but like if you know anyone, like help me out, hook me up. And we were at Thekla, so we had a couple of beers. Um, and he was like, yeah, that's totally fine, dude. Then he messaged me the next day and he was like, yeah, dude, just like follow these Facebook sites or whatever, then I'll get back to you whenever I can. Then I went back to Thekla the week after, and he was like, you know that band you're on about? I was like, yeah. because yeah, I want to start a metal band. I've got like 5 people to introduce you to. That's sick. So I went up and met all of his friends, and that's when he introduced me to Amari and Louis. And earlier in that night, Amari had a Megadeth top on, and I had a Metallica top on, and we were in the bathroom like, oh, holy shit, no way, that's awesome. Had a big chat in there, then just sort of went about our night. Then later in the night, finding each other again and be like, oh my god, it's this guy. I didn't know you played guitar. That's fucking awesome. Um, so it was me, our old vocalist Stuart, Amari, and Louis at the start. Then we had this sort of revolving door of bassists for a little bit. Then I think Harv is our longest tenured bassist. I think it's 2 years now, maybe 2 or 3 years. I want to say 2024. But we basically held auditions for another bassist because we could not get it right. Um, he came, and as far as I was concerned, it was like the most obvious choice. He's wicked. Yeah, I can't express how fun it is playing with Harv, and to actually play with him, he's awesome. Um, so that's when that sort of 5 piece lineup formed. Then there was a small creative clash, which then led to us parting ways with Stu. And like I said, we're like still really, really good friends. There's no hard feelings, just one of them things that wasn't working out. Then I sort of filled in on vocals for 2 years, and I'm still filling in on vocals for some reason. No, I think I am the lead vocalist now. I think it's fairly obvious, but at that point I wasn't. I was just stepping in. But from us parting with Stuart, that's when Martyr ended. Then Martyrs Saint formed, like it started, because it was like pretty much an entirely new lineup. And there was a German death metal band called Martyr.
Right.
And we wanted to avoid that being a clash. And we didn't want to do like Martyr UK or something.
Oh, God. Yeah.
So we just like, we put 2 names on our Instagram story, and we're like, just let everyone else vote because we were split and they all voted Martyrs Saint. So that's how we got the name.
Do you remember what the other one was?
Yeah, but I'm not going to tell you. It's crap.
Oh, okay.
It's really shit.
But those are the best. I love asking that question. I love hearing about horrendous band names.
At the time, it was awesome. I look back on it and I cringe. It was shit.
Fair enough. I'll ask you when we're not recording. So when you say you took on the vocal duties, so I presume when you wanted to form this band, it was just going to solely be the guitar.
Yeah, I was just going to play guitar. And honestly, I was somewhat content with that. I'd always my big idols were James Hetfield and Dave Mustaine, so obviously singing and playing guitar was always in there.
Sure.
But I wasn't chomping at the bit for it. But the more I did it, I was like, I kind of wanted to keep doing it. It's kind of sick.
Nice. So when you guys sort of formed and you were getting ready to start, you making music together, did you all have an idea in your head what kind of music you were going to go in and start creating, or did it form quite naturally?
Well, we were just going to be like a straight down the run 80s thrash band. We had denim and skinny jeans and high tops, and we all had long hair. So that was the pursuit, was to play as quickly and aggressively as possible. Over time, that changed quite a lot. But at that point, it was we knew straight away that we just wanted to be an 80s thrash metal band. There wasn't really much else in consideration.
Sweet. I mean, you mentioned Metallica and Megadeth there, yeah. But who were some of the other like big influences on you guys back then and even now?
I mean, at the time, it would have just been, and I mean, individually, the individual influences in our music wouldn't have appeared at that point. It appears much more readily now than it did then, because Louis, at his bone center, is a prog drummer. He got a lot of his chops and his sort of groove through playing stuff like Dream Theater and Tool, and like Rush. Like his favorite drummers are Mike Portnoy, Neil Peart, and Danny Carey. And but then he's also got guys like Eloy Casagrande and like Mario Duplantier. So he got all his prog stuff and then realized he can hit really hard as well, and combine that to be the drummer that he is. At the time, his job was just to play as quick as humanly possible. Now he has a bit more fun with it. And I feel like Amari's influences were always a bit more apparent and on the nose because he was a big AC/DC guy, and he's a big Angus guy. So like there were blues all over his playing, and he still has that in his leads now. But over the time, he's not sidestepped that, but he's tried to pull that into more of a shred style. So he's got a lot more sort of Van Halen in him now. Um, just like a lot of tapping harmonics kind of thing. Some really mental sweeps as well. But he's still like an unbelievable riff writer. Like if you were to close your eyes and imagine what band he would be in, you would assume it's Gojira. Like he's insane with riffs. Then Harv is probably the weirdest because he got his through like J-pop and like Duran Duran. Um, Now that being said, he was a Metallica fanboy the same way the rest of us were.
Sure.
So that was the thing that held us together. Was he basically wanted to be Cliff Burton, and he had a bass wasp. We fell in love with him. But yeah, his actual sort of when you nail it, his playing down, it's not quite as simple as Metallica fanboy. Um, and that's what I mean. You've kind of got to play with him to get it. He's really,
Yeah.
really fun to play with because he knows when to let off the low end at the right time. It's awesome.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, none of those influences were really apparent earlier because we had one job. But the more this band sort of flowed on and we started to get heavier and just maybe mess around and have more fun with it, everyone's individual influences have come in a hell of a lot stronger.
Yeah, fantastic. Cool. So let's jump into some of your specific tracks. I mean, the first one that I could find on Spotify, Storm of Spears, back in 2024. Was that one of the first songs you guys created, or was some of the like really early stuff not released?
It was the first song we wrote under what we now call our songwriting practice, we'll say. So the two songs on there, Epistaxis and He Rises, I had written before I was in the band. Then SOS was we incorporated this sort of trickle down effect. Was I would have X amount of riffs and I would have X amount of riffs. We would jam them together. Then I would write a demo at home. Then that would go to Harv and Louis, and they would add their stuff to it. SOS was the first time we did that.
Right.
So that's actually weirdly one of the only songs we feel like in our current set list that's held up.
Nice.
We don't play a lot of the other stuff, especially from like the 2023 days. We didn't play any of that anymore.
Sure.
But SOS has held up, and we feel like because we got that formula right then, it's had a bit more of a mainstay. The only thing we're not happy about with it is the production's a bit crap.
Well, I mean,
It's we did it ourselves. It was like a DIY one, so we'll take it for what it is. But especially compared to our newer stuff, it's a bit like, oh, it sounds a bit shit.
oh, well, early days, you've got to start somewhere and all that. And,
Absolutely.
classic thrash has that kind of raw kind of
Yeah,
production to
yeah,
it.
yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of the point. I do find it, it's quite impressive coming out all guns blazing with a 6 minute thrash metal song.
I know.
Is that because you guys kept bouncing it back and forth, adding more stuff to it?
That
Basically?
that has been that was been a story of our songwriting careers up until like this year, is that we kept adding stuff on. Um, SOS is particularly a pain in the ass because it's like all 220 BPM and downpicked.
Yeah.
So like it really does get annoying after 6.5 minutes of just constantly doing it. But that was like, okay, we need a sick opening riff, and we need to like bring the band in, and we've got to have a heavy riff, and we've got to have another fast one, and we've got verse, chorus, and the fast riff again. It's just like we keep bringing shit back. That got to its worst on He Rises because that's like what, nearly 11 minutes.
Mhm.
And same thing. It's we get done with the section thinking this couldn't have this. It needs another breakdown. It needs another harmony section. We're better at that now. We don't do that anymore. We've tightened them up a little bit, but at that point it was just constantly trying to add shit onto them.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm sure my band would want to know how you guys were able to eventually rein it in because they need to rein me in. I'm the guy who writes the 8-10 minute prog masterpiece, and
Yeah,
then they
yeah,
managed to make it a 3 minute system of a
yeah,
down fucking thing. So I like my long songs. What
yeah.
can I
Me too,
say?
man.
What can I say? But no, it's a really, really cool song. It was like I was listening to Kill 'Em All again for the first time. Fucking
Hell yeah, dude.
sick. But your new single, Enemy of My Enemy,
Yes.
thunderous as all hell.
Thank you,
Production
man.
night and day. It's absolutely brilliant.
Absolutely.
It came out only a few days ago, as it
Yes.
happens. So, how would you, from your very first song that you released, SOS, up to Enemy of My Enemy, what sort do you think are the big things that have developed between that song and this one?
Um, so Enemy was the first example of not forcing a song to be finished.
Mm.
The sort of the first riff at start of that song was written maybe early 2024. But we hadn't developed enough to finish writing it. We just weren't straight up good enough as a band. to finish off the complexity of that song required. And at that point, we knew that. We didn't want to try and just jam it in. So we took a year to write it. Then we sort of started bringing it live in 2025. And it still wasn't quite done. There were just some bits we needed to work on. But the main difference between then and now was we let someone else in our songwriting camp. And we got an actual producer. It's a guy called Lucas, and he's an absolute angel. When we went up to track with him, his input was like insurmountably valuable for how like songs like Strength and Enemy came to be. Because they're our babies, we're done with them.
Mm-hmm.
But we need like a fresh set of ears. But I'm sure you can appreciate like there's a lot of yes people who are going to tell you your song's great.
Yeah.
And then there's people who are like going to tell you your song shit because they want to tell you your song shit.
Yeah.
Letting someone into that world really, really was difficult. But Lucas was awesome. He got the vibe like immediately. And so we were able to have a fresh perspective, a fresh set of ears, someone else who can write music, actually go, know what, this needs to be this needs to be this, move these around kind of thing. And we trusted him. And that honesty from him came from the fact that we have been brutally honest with ourselves the past year. We had a show at the Fleece. We were really, really pissed for it, and we thought it was the best show we ever played. Got the front of house track back, and it sounded like shit. It was awful. We did not play well at all. So we then went on like this personal vendetta for the year to be like, we actually need to get better. This isn't right.
Yeah, sure.
So we were really, really horrible to each other for a year, brutally honest with each other for a year. Then got a producer in the camp who actually knows what he's on about, helps us write songs. We have a lot that sort of went into this is now Martyrs Saint. We just needed a kick up the arse and someone to move these songs in the right direction, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely fantastic. It's almost I hear that all the time. It's like the bands that have the best relationship with their producer ones. They say they feel like an actual member of the band.
Absolutely,
definitely the right way to do it. And I take it you guys don't get pissed before going on stage anymore.
No, I've played all but one show this year sober.
Nice.
And the only one I didn't play sober was in Nottingham because we had a hotel.
Yeah, fair dues. I mean, I same story. I learned the hard way very early on. I now know I can't drink before going on stage.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You feel like hot shit when you're up there, and then you hear it back and like, oh Jesus Christ.
With like vocals especially, I did not realize how dry my throat got when I drank. Like the difference between me coming off stage is like I can come off stage now and sound the way I sound. At that point, I was like coughing, sure. I was like gagging because my throat was so dry. I could barely speak. And like for like a day or two after, I'd always have like an itch on my throat. But now I'm fine. It's just because alcohol dries my throat out so much.
Yeah, completely. I mean, we've all got our personal limits as to how much we can and can't have. But for me, it was easy just to say I'm just don't drink it at all before going on stage. Which also helped because I was the only one in the band who could drive for many, many years. So that made it a lot easier. Now those lazy bastards can drive. So anyway, speaking of live shows, though, we are soon to arrive at the course, the big event in question. You guys made it through the first semi-finals of Bristol's M2TM's competition. So firstly, congratulations, buddy. Cannot wait to do battle with you guys in the final. It's going to be sick. I remember your buddy now. Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. I remember your semi-final performance very, very clearly. It was absolutely mental. You guys are nuts live. So much energy, fury, just destroying everything. Loved it. Was it the goal right from the get-go of this band that you need to have almost more energy live than you do on recording, so to speak?
Well, barring Louis, who's put some like serious hours into practicing, at the time when we first got together, we hadn't been playing that long. I've been playing a year and a half, and Amar had been playing like 2.5 years, maybe 3. And we had not been playing that long. We had to have a leg up somehow.
Right.
We weren't gonna go and out technical these metalcore bands we were playing with, but I could guarantee we could do everything about being more fun to watch. So that was our goal, whereas to just be like as entertaining as we could. But unfortunately, at the time, that came at the cost of being tight.
Sure.
We weren't really tight at that point. The way it is now is because we have such a rigorous songwriting process now, we love these songs to death. And we find it very hard to stand still when you're playing a song you love to death. Because it's like, if you genuinely think it's one of the best things you've ever written, I personally am not going to stand still and play it. I do it in rehearsal. We all do it in rehearsal. We all jump about and we're mentally in rehearsal, come out sweating, having to take a break every 5 minutes. Like, it's just the way we are. We love our songs so much and we put so much effort into them that the display is not forced. It's like what we just do when we play our music.
Yeah, absolutely correct. Yeah, I completely agree with that. I mean, I don't know if you caught my band Smile more at the
I did,
semi-final, but
yeah.
we can't stand still.
No,
It's
I get it.
got to be
Yeah.
crazy. It's just so much more fun that way.
It's more awkward standing still.
Right?
I would rather look like a twat than stand still.
100%,
Easy.
100% agree. Yeah, I mean, as I say, you guys are absolutely brutal at that semi-final. To my dismay, I missed your first heat. I wasn't able to make that one, but was that initial heat as crazy as your semi-final? Because the crowd are going fucking mad at your semi-final.
Um, at the time, we thought it was, but looking back at videos, our semi-final was definitely more mental. Um, a lot of the times, the crowd doing the work for us. To be
Yeah.
fair, they are great. They are the people who come watch our shows and who show up constantly are the most sweetest, most kindest, most generous people because they do it every time. And we cannot say thank you enough for it. But it's armor when you go and you get up on stage, you see them out there, you know exactly who's going to hit, and you can see them.
Yeah.
You have this sort of buff that you can go up there and go try to kick some ass. And with the stakes being higher at the semi-finals, we were all a bit, we weren't on edge, but we felt a bit more jaded, and we
Mhm.
feel like we had to prove a bit more of a point. Um, I just been a little bit more pissed off about getting on stage, and because we were on really early as well, we were like, right, we
Mm.
have to do extra better because we were on early. Um, so we go up and we're pissed off and jaded and trying to prove a point, and we look out and they're still there, and they're still dancing and pitting and hitting each other, and thinking, oh, this is crazy. That's actually meant, all right, let's keep going while we've
Keep it
got,
going.
25 minutes to do it. Let's just give everything we've got in 25 minutes. And I think the main difference between our first heat and the semi-finals was we played two shows in the week before the
Right.
semi-finals. So we had Southwest Heavy Fest in Bridgewater and we had
Oh, of
Nottingham.
course, yeah.
We were red hot. We were well rehearsed. We were oiled. We were like ready to go. Um, so we had a combination of had rehearsed, had played some shows in that week, and we're a little bit pissed off. I think we just had a really, really lucky combination, I think.
Yeah, fantastic. A bit of a tangent, but I forgot to ask. I mean, how was Southwest Heavy Fest? Because that looked like an awesome lineup.
That was super sick. We couldn't spend 5 minutes without someone coming chatting to us. It was really, really nice. And honestly, it was like such a cool environment because there were hardcore guys there, metal guys there, metalcore guys there. There'd be like the biggest, hardest guys you've ever met. Or there was like blokes who had been going to thrash metal gigs since the 80s who were coming to chat to us. There was such a wide range of people, and they were all super, super sick. They were all really cool. And to be on such a diverse lineup as well,
Mm.
you really get to, you, you're not boxed into one thing. Like, I feel like if you were to go to a festival yourself, unless you're, for example, you absolutely love death metal, you go to a death metal festival, you kind of want to get your money's worth. Um, so we could then go on stage and be like, there was this band on before us, I think called Alfie Island or something,
Mhm.
and they were beautiful. They had that, they were so melodic, and they had one of the probably the best vocalists I've ever seen. She was great. Um, and then we get to go on and do our thing because they did their thing, and then after us was Vulture God,
Mm.
who absolutely ridiculously
Yeah.
talented. And so it was like we all get to do what we want to do without stepping on each other's toes, and the audience isn't going to be bored either because they have a million other bands to watch. Like they can do whatever they want. Um, there's no, they don't have to pick because it's one stage, and they also don't get ear fatigue because it's not the same thing the entire day.
Yeah.
Um, so we got to have a cool range of conversations with a cool range of people because it all wasn't the same thing. But they weren't all there for the same show. They might have seen the death metal bands on the lineup, or they might have seen the black metal bands on the lineup, and that's who they went for. So we got a different perspective on who we were speaking to, which is like probably barring our very early days when we were playing with indie bands, probably the first time we've done that since.
Yeah, wicked, man. I really need to get to that one day. I keep something things keep getting in the way, but I
No,
do need to get
it
to.
is sick down there.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, we've played Bridgewater so many times. It's
Mm.
weird, like little pocket of a metal scene in the middle of nowhere. It's just bizarre.
And like the Cobble's the sickest venue.
Yeah,
We went through the pub and we're like, are we in the right place? And we got to the guard. I'm like, oh my god, we're absolutely in the right place. It's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. And they have Trooper on tap. What more could you
Mm.
want? So, when you entered Metal to the Masses this year,
Yeah.
did you expect to get as far as you have?
I think there is a very, very strong self belief within this band.
Mhm.
Um, that we wouldn't have bet money on it, but we probably say we would because we're ferocious with approach and we are absolutely relentless with stuff. Like it wouldn't compute to us that we wouldn't get this far.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be an option. Um, Now that being said, if that came with its fair share of self-imposed pressure
Yeah.
and nerves. If you'd have seen us outside after the semi-finals after our heat, we were like silent and terrified the entire time. We went on second, so we had
Mhm.
all that time in between, and we were like ghosts outside. Um, but I feel like we'd have bet on ourselves. That's the kind of band we are. I think that we stick to our guns and we don't do anything unless it's worth doing right. And I feel like that in and of itself should then say we would do everything we can to get as far as we can.
Fair enough. All or nothing. Love that.
Yeah.
That's so good. I will be asking every band this between now and the final. But you don't have to comment if you don't wish. But out of the finalists already announced, or indeed the rest of the bands in the next semi final, have you got a band or two in mind that you're thinking that might be your big competition this year?
Um, so I can tell from our heat that none of us are particularly similar.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and assume that the next heat is going to be something similar, where not the three bands that go through aren't going to be the same genre.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a difficult question because if I'm going to go toe to toe with another thrash band, I'm going to say Martyrs Saint are the best band in the world, 10 times out of 10. But it's not. It's not that where we're apples and oranges. Um, we're just grateful we get to play with sick bands, and we're grateful that we're getting to go through with bands like Smile More, and that we get a sick gig at the end of it.
Yeah.
That's what it is now. That being said, though, World Error are mental and Entropic
Yeah.
Rot are mental,
Mm-hmm.
and I fully expect them to go through because they are insane, and I want them to go through because if they go through, I feel like we'll play better.
But how does it feel to be in the final for Melted Masses, one step away from Bloodstock?
Terrifying. Like we're 3 years old as a band. Like we've barely scratched the surface of what we're hopefully going to do within our careers. So it's like I'm trying to pick my words carefully because, like I said, we do have a very strong burning belief, a burning self belief that we will get what needs to be done. Um, but we don't want to then go and think we're God's gift to music, and we absolutely don't think that. Um, so we're just going to be grateful for the fact that it's a sick gig. We get to play in front of lots of people, and we get to play with some really sick bands. And hopefully, the next bands that go through are also going to be sick bands. Um, we're gonna just play our set and play it as well as we can, and that's the only way we're gonna stay on the straight and narrow. If we go sit in that rehearsal room picking about every little thing of our set and writing down every detail, we will go mental and we probably won't play it because we'll be sick.
Yeah.
It's not in our minds to do that. It's a massive privilege. It's ridiculous that our people keep showing up. It's ridiculous that judges are happy for us to keep playing. That we keep getting through to the rounds and whatever. That is such a huge privilege. And it's if you'd have seen Martyr 3 years ago compared to now, you wouldn't have thought we'd be in any kind of position in the finals. That band at that point probably did because they were pissed all the time. But it's incredibly humbling that we're here with the bands that we know we're playing with and probably think we're going to get through with next time. It's humbling and it's just a really, really good shot at a really, really another great gig. And as long as we keep that in our minds. I think we'll have a much better time doing it.
Yeah, brilliant. What would it mean for you guys to play Bloodstock?
I haven't got the capacity to explain that for all four of us, where we're all very emotional and very outspoken and proud people, and we all would want to have a 45-minute conversation each.
Yeah, I'll bet.
But that being said, it would feel like okay, I'm gonna put it this way. We had a bet with Amari, because he was going to move to Brighton for uni. I don't know, remember what the bet was, but it was something to do that if it happened, you can't go to Brighton, you have to stay and play with our band, right? Anyway, we won, so he stayed in Bristol to keep playing with the band.
Mm-hmm.
That would make that decision for him worth it,
Sure.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Or how like Harv doesn't live in Bristol, he lives on the other side of Bath. The guy drives like probably just over an hour every time to come to rehearsal and drives just over an hour to get back. Or like Louis, at one point, Louis worked complete nights, so he would start work at 11 and finish at like something stupid like 9 o'clock. So there were times that we would rehearse from 7 to 10:30. He'd go to work, then we'd have load in at 1 the next day, and Louis would do it.
Yeah.
It would just be a really, really, really big full stop on the efforts that the guys have made, because it's not happened without sacrifice. It's happened having to push a lot of stuff away, and I appreciate that. Again, it's hopefully, as if this band gets as big as we want it to, it'd be a very small blip, whether we get through to finals or not, fit past the finals or not. But all I can say is that now it would validate a lot of the stuff we've given up to get to it. And I think that's the important thing.
Fantastic. Love that. So beyond potentially playing the greatest metal festival in the country, what does the rest of 2026 have in store for Martyrs Saint?
I'm not allowed to tell you a bunch of it.
But
there is
big things coming.
Yeah, there is plenty to it. Where watch this space, local. No, there is stuff coming. When is this going out?
Good question. Probably not towards end of June, maybe beginning of July, in the run up to the final, basically.
That's fine then. We recorded an EP.
Nice.
That's where the first two singles have come from. We've got another two coming out. That's getting announced on the 1st.
Nice.
Basically, this year's just been gearing up to send that on its way, that we sound better than we did before. This is our EP now. We sound better. Then the classic, you have to play some shows with it, and PR and all that stuff. But nothing out of the ordinary from what any other band would do, but we're making a more conscious effort to do it better than we did last year. I can't tell you the cooler stuff, unfortunately, but I can tell you that much.
Okay, so when did you say when's the EP coming out?
I can't tell you when it's coming out because this will air before that. But I can tell you it's announced on June 1st.
Announced on June 1st, cool. Yes. So for all of you lot watching this, by the time you're watching this, it's been announced. So as always, I say this for every band I interview, please, all of you watching, go check out those links in the description down below to check out Martyrs Saint's socials, their music, and where you can catch an awesome, ferocious live show. Cool. So we are nearly done. However, I like to end these interviews on Crushing Sounds the same way every single time, with some random quick fire questions that have nothing to do with anything. Feel free to think as quick or as long as you like. Elaborate if you choose. Just some light-hearted questions to see us through to the end. Start with the absolute classic: modern metal or traditional metal?
Traditional metal for the sake of longevity.
Nice. Catchy chorus or filthy breakdown?
Catchy chorus.
Oh, interesting. Wasn't expecting that. Indoor venue or open air?
Indoor.
Nice.
Yeah.
Favorite band or artist?
That changes literally every 5 minutes. For my entire life, it's been Metallica. So I say Metallica.
Of course. Going off music, book or movie?
Oh, neither. My attention span's short.
Fair enough. We'll go with just music then.
Yeah.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Spicy or mild?
spicy.
Legend. Streaming or physical media?
Physical media, without a doubt. Yeah,
I did,
absolutely.
I did have a band the other day say streaming, and it
No,
did
what
did
like
did
not
raise
point,
an eyebrow.
not point, not two Peter stream or something. I'll leave it if I can.
Of course.
Yeah.
Uh, are you a morning or evening person?
Um, now morning. Uh, that's been within like the past month, so
Right.
I was an evening person.
Fair enough. Last show you went to other than your own?
Um, it was Grismo, Post Vita, and Siphon. That was at Louisiana. Uh, then before that, I think it was Speed.
Nice. Final question. Favorite Martyrs Saint song?
From Strength to Strength.
Ah, nice. Wicked.
Yeah.
That song is so good.
Thank you, man.
The song is really, really good. Anyway, that's all I've got. Thank you so much for joining me today, Brandon. This has been a real pleasure.
Thank you for having me, Chris. It's been great to chat to you.
Anytime, dude. And for everyone watching, I'll reiterate, please check out the links down below to support Martyrs Saint and get familiar with them ahead of the grand final of Metal to the Masses in Bristol on July 12th. Tickets also linked down below. I don't think there are many left, so get moving. I've been Chris with Crushing Sounds. Thank you, Brandon from Martyrs Saint, for joining me. Thank you all for watching. Go listen to some amazing heavy metal, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you in a bit.